Does your life ever feel like a constant storm? A relentless flood of deadlines you can't meet, arguments you can't seem to win, and a current of anxiety you just can't escape. You're told to hustle harder, get more organized, or just push through it. So you try, but that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, of being tossed around by chaos, it never really goes away. Your heart pounds in traffic. Your mind buzzes with 1,000 notifications. Peace feels like a distant, impossible luxury. You're running a race with no finish line, and the exhaustion is bone deep. This isn't just a bad day, it's becoming your everyday. The modern world promises us progress, but a lot of the time it just delivers a constant state of emergency. But what if the secret to finding calm wasn't about changing the storm around you, but about changing how you see it from the inside? What if an ancient, battle-tested philosophy held the 4 keys you need to finally master the chaos? This isn't about ignoring your emotions or turning into some unfeeling statue. It's about building an inner fortress of calm, a place of strength that no external drama can tear down. Stay with me, because today we're unlocking 4 Stoic principles that will teach you not just to survive the storm, but to become the calm at its very center. The philosophy we're turning to is Stoicism, an ancient school of thought from Greece and Rome. But this wasn't for stuffy academics. It was practiced by everyone, from slaves to emperors. Thinkers like the former slave Epictetus, the powerful statesman Seneca, and the Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius. These guys didn't come up with these ideas in quiet libraries. They forged them in the fires of political chaos, personal loss, and immense pressure. They were looking for a practical way to live a good life, a life of peace and integrity, no matter how crazy the world got. And they realized that so much of our unhappiness comes from a single mistake. We spend all our energy trying to control things we can't, while completely neglecting the one thing we actually can. Their core discovery was this: while we can't control what happens to us, we have absolute power over how we respond. That's the foundation for our entire defense against the chaos of modern life. It's not a magic trick, but a training system for your mind. A system built on 4 key pillars. So let's start with the first one, the principle that unlocks all the others. The first and most fundamental principle of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control. The philosopher Epictetus put it with beautiful simplicity. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. What's up to us? Our opinions, our choices, our actions, basically our own stuff. What's not up to us? Well, pretty much everything else. Our bodies, our reputation, what other people think, and the final outcome of events. So much of our daily stress comes from trying to force our will on things we were never going to control in the first place. Picture yourself as the captain of a ship in a storm. You can't control the wind, the size of the waves, or the thick fog. Raging against the storm is pointless. It just drains your energy and makes you feel hopeless. What you can control is how you steer the ship. You control the sails, your grip on the rudder, and how you lead your crew. A Stoic focuses all their energy on being the best possible captain, not on wishing the sea were calm. Let's make this real. You've got a huge project at work. The deadline is insane, the client is demanding, and one of your teammates is totally phoning it in. The chaos is real. The typical response is to spiral into anxiety. You obsess over the client's reaction. You get furious about your colleague's laziness. You dread the thought of failure. Your energy is scattered everywhere, wasted on things you can't directly control. The Stoic approach, using the dichotomy of control, is to do a kind of mental sorting. Ask yourself, what here is actually up to me? You can't control your colleague. You can't control the client's final opinion. You can't magically create more hours in the day. But you can control your own effort and your own attitude. You can choose to communicate professionally with your colleague. You can organize your own work with absolute focus. You can present the final project with integrity, knowing you did your part. You attach your sense of accomplishment not to the outcome, but to your own virtuous effort. This shift doesn't guarantee the project is a success, but it guarantees that you will handle the stress with peace and self-respect, free from the pointless suffering of fighting reality. The second principle flows directly from the first and takes us deeper into our own minds. The Stoics noticed that our emotional turmoil rarely comes from events themselves, but from the judgments we attach to them. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Epictetus was even more blunt. It is not things that upset us, but our judgments about things. This is a game-changing idea. It means chaos isn't some external force that invades your mind. It's a fire you start yourself with the kindling of your own perceptions. Think about getting cut off in traffic. The event itself is neutral. A car moved into your lane. That's it. It's your internal judgment. That jerk, he has no respect. Now my whole morning is ruined. That creates the hot surge of anger. The event was outside your control, but the story you told yourself about it was yours. As Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you can have no opinion about a thing and not to be disturbed in your soul. Let's apply this to something tougher. You get some unexpected critical feedback from your boss. The immediate, untrained reaction might be shame or defensiveness. Your judgment is, "This is awful. I'm a failure. My boss thinks I'm an idiot." That judgment is what creates the pain. A Stoic practitioner learns to hit pause in that moment between an event and their reaction. They see the feedback not as a bad thing, but simply as information. Then they choose their judgment. Instead of, "I'm a failure," the judgment could be, "This is a chance to get better." Instead of, "My boss hates me," it could be, "My manager is invested in my growth." This isn't about pretending it doesn't sting. It's about consciously choosing not to add a second, brutal layer of self-criticism on top. Marcus Aurelius nailed it when he wrote, "Today I escaped anxiety." Or no, I discarded it, because it was within me and my own perceptions, not outside. By mastering your judgments, you take back your emotional independence. Other people's actions, the stock market, unexpected setbacks, they all lose their power to control how you feel. The world will always be unpredictable, but you're no longer just a passive victim of it. The third principle tackles our mind's tendency to time travel. Most of our anxiety isn't happening right here, right now. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely observed, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. We get tormented by replays of past mistakes and terrified by catastrophic fantasies about the future. The present moment, the only one we actually have, gets completely lost in the noise. Stoicism teaches us to anchor ourselves in the present by using reflection to start and end each day. This practice has two parts. The morning routine is called premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. Now, this isn't about being a pessimist. Think of it as a strategic, negative visualization. Before your day gets going, you take a moment to consider what might go wrong. You might have to deal with a difficult person, face a technical glitch, or get stuck in traffic. Marcus Aurelius did this, reminding himself each morning that he would likely meet meddling, ungrateful, or arrogant people. The goal isn't to create anxiety, but to rehearse your Stoic response ahead of time. By anticipating challenges, you rob them of the power of surprise. When that annoying colleague does show up, you're not shocked into a messy emotional reaction. You've already prepared your response to act with reason and patience. As Seneca said, the blow lands more softly when it is foreseen. The evening reflection is a calm review of your day. You can ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? What duty was left undone? This isn't for beating yourself up. It's an honest, objective audit of your actions. It's a chance to learn from your mistakes without shame, celebrate your wins without arrogance, and get ready to be just a little bit better tomorrow. By bookending your day with these practices, you stop living on autopilot. You start your day prepared and end it with a little more wisdom. You learn to live in the present because you've already made peace with the potential future and processed the past. This final principle is probably the most profound, and it ties all the others together. It is the art of acceptance, what the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche later called amor fati, a love of one's fate. This principle asks us not just to tolerate what happens, but to embrace it and see it as necessary. It's about treating every single moment, no matter how hard, as something to be welcomed, not resisted. Now, this idea can be a tough pill to swallow. Are we supposed to love tragedy, love failure, or loss? The Stoics would say that fighting reality, wishing things were different than they are, is the deepest source of our suffering. The past is done. The present is what it is. To argue with what has already happened is a battle you will always lose, and it will only leave you exhausted and broken. Epictetus gave us the formula. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happen the way it happens. Then you will be happy. This is the ultimate mindset shift. It transforms every obstacle into a powerful opportunity. A failed business is no longer a catastrophe. It's a masterclass in humility and strategy. A painful breakup isn't the end of the world. It's the beginning of a new chapter of self-discovery. A sudden illness isn't an injustice. It's a teacher of resilience and what truly matters. The great Stoic metaphor for this is fire. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." A weak fire gets put out by a log, but a strong fire consumes it and burns even hotter. Amor fati is the practice of building that internal fire. It is looking at a setback and instead of asking, "Why me?" asking, "How can I use this?" This isn't about being passive. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to make things better. It means you accept the cards you're dealt, whatever they are, and then you play that hand to the absolute best of your ability. You love your fate because it is the raw material of your life, the very thing from which you must forge meaning and strength. The chaos of the world isn't going anywhere. There will always be storms, but you don't have to be a victim of them. The power of Stoicism is its timeless promise that your inner world is yours to command. So, where does that leave us? Let's recap the 4 principles. First, practice the dichotomy of control. Separate what you can control from what you can't and put your energy where it matters. Second, remember that your judgments, not events, cause your suffering, so choose your perspective wisely. Third, anchor yourself in the present with morning and evening reflections, preparing for challenges and learning from your day. And fourth, practice amor fati. Learn to love your fate, accepting everything that happens as a chance to grow. Chaos is inevitable, but suffering is a choice. By practicing these principles, you're not just getting through the storm. You're becoming the calm at its center. You are building an inner citadel that cannot be shaken. This is a lifelong practice, a journey of small steps that leads to a profound sense of peace. To continue your journey into practical philosophy, make sure to subscribe and join our community. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 4 principles are you going to start practicing today? Let me know in the comments below.